live. Welcome back to the Reptile Room. It's Wednesday again. That means it's live stream day. Today we are joined by my neighbor Andrew. He's just about 16 years old. And here he is. Come on in, man. Let's check it out. Welcome to the stream, everybody. So hope you're all having a good time. Again, as always, if you have any questions for us, just go ahead and throw them down in there. Rocky Mountain, I was looking through some of those questions you got for the challenge. I think you're right. You may have to do a couple of hints there. And what I think is funny is that the question that I posed when he posted it was how many animals and how many eggs do I have in the reptile room the day he posted it? I had to come down here and count. Yeah, it was crazy. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Drop a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me and whatnot. I didn't even check that, to be honest, which is my fault. But yep, Rocky says hello. Yep. All right, cool. So we are filming we're doing this on the new camera. You guys haven't even seen the first video that's in 4K. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be streaming in 4K yet. I have to make another modification because that's how technology always works. So, Andrew, let's tell everybody a little bit about yourself as far as animals and your reptiles and how you got into it.
So, my first reptile I kept was when I was about 3, and it was 3 bearded dragons. It was two large ones and a small one. They killed the small one, like terrorized them to death. And they grew up, and I moved to Ohio in 2013. I'm from California. About 2011, my mom came home one day from work and saw something on the porch and didn't know what it was. So we had a cage. She ended up putting the cage. We found it was a sulcata tortoise.
Oh man!
She walked up the porch. It was about that big. So fast forward 2014, the bearded dragons were probably 8 at this time, around there. So they had died off. I'm 15, so I think they were probably like around 8. They had died, and the only thing we had left was a sulcata. Around this time, I was in 5th grade. I didn't really know how to keep animals yet. So our sulcata literally, for probably 10 years, just lived in a hot area with food. Didn't have any other life here or anything. So I got older. I was like, just wondering one day, like, yeah, I like snakes and stuff. So I got about 8th grade. I really got into reptiles. I'm like this is pretty cool. Then going into my freshman year of high school, I'm going to be a junior this year. I got a green iguana named Rico, and our first guy's about that big. Man, he's about 3 feet, somewhere I'd say about 30 inches, and he's getting upgraded. Our sulcata lived in a 40-gallon for about almost 8 years. And then I moved her to a pool about a year ago. She was probably like that big. And just recently, as like 2 months ago, I moved her into an 8 foot by 2 foot, which is connected to a lizard cage, which we need to finish with putting on. But it's connected to a lizard cage and has a hide box. It's about 2 feet area. It has UVB, a heat emitter, lights, has a water dish, food, sod, dirt, rocks, like everything a sulcata would love.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
You actually sent me a picture of that.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and it is pretty cool to see how you go from an early keeper, and then you're like, oh, this is cool, and you start upgrading because that's what everybody does. That's our whole thing. Oh, and just one more thing, just so you're aware, if we get 10 likes on this video, you have to eat one of the chocolate-covered silkworms. Sorry. So let's get some likes, guys. Let's get some more likes going on here. Yeah, super cool. So the sulcatas,
best animal.
Man, they get big too. And
she's got this big. Like that size tub, she probably takes up 95% of it. And she's like that wide and that long.
It's just a walking boulder. Yeah. Tortoises are walking boulders, and the sulcatas, you watch Camp Kennan, and his sulcatas are massive, and oh man, just absolutely crazy. And just one more thing I want to shout out before I forget is you need to go follow Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks on YouTube and Instagram and check out his YouTube scavenger hunt that he's got going on. And you need to do that too. That's there's a whole bunch of channels involved, Instagram handles. You got to follow everybody and figure out the answers to the questions. And it's a challenge. And they've got some cool prizes for you. So definitely get into that. Check it out. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. But we just had we just had another leopard gecko hatch. I don't know if anybody's interested in seeing that, but we're gonna pull it out anyway. Um, this little thing already about to be in shed. And one of my favorite things about these leopard geckos is they scream. Let me see if I can. You want to scream at me? Usually a touch generates a scream. No, not this time.
Camera shot. Ooh.
I gotta get it closer to whichever microphone.
It's like somebody's releasing a balloon.
Yeah. She's a little bit of a challenge to see in here, guys, but there you go. She is moving a little bit, but she's going to be featured on the next video. You'll see all the geckos, but I believe that this one is one of the eggs laid from Zero, who is our albino something or other. She has golden eyes, which is really cool. Most leopard geckos don't have that. And apparently that's attributed to the raptor or aptor set of genes. Like, I know some ball python genetics, but as far as leopard gecko genetics, leopard gecko genetics aren't exactly my thing. But she's super cool, and she's like tucked down in there. I'd pull her out, but she is albino. They're a little bit more sensitive to light and whatnot, but a little bit of a handful on there. But we've got 5 hatched geckos, and man, it's a little bit crazy. I had to move our Andromeda, the Mojave ball python that we got recently. I had to move her up here, and you'll see that in Saturday's video, just so I can free up my shelves to fit some more hatchlings, because we actually had both of the females are now spinning. Yeah, stay at frame. Yeah, the camera's over there. Our audience is over here. So one of the interesting things is they used to be on separate cycles. So one would lay eggs, and I knew which one it was. Well, now they're on the same cycle, and they laid in the same lay box. So we had 4 eggs that we dug out of there, and I'm like, okay, well,
4 random eggs.
Who knows who they are? And hopefully we'll be able to tell. I really want to try to keep them separate, but if you guys are ever interested in some leopard geckos, you got to hit me an email, winningreptiles@gmail.com, and maybe we'll work out a deal if you're in the Cincinnati area. But I'm going to go check. I see some comments over here. Let's see what's going on in chat. Oh, I'm wondering what people plant. This is a good question. This is kind of directed at you here, Andrew. Rocky Mountain says, I'm wondering what people do for planning the afterlife for a tortoise. I'd really like one, but with us having no kids, how do I make sure that is gifted to someone who is good to look after it? So what's your plan? Because that tortoise is definitely going to outlast you, right?
You know, I don't have any plans on it.
Haven't really gotten that far yet?
But if anything would happen, I would just hand them down. And they're not too bad to take care of. I mean,
hopefully to a kid in the future. Yeah. Well, so that was the thing. I think Camp Ken Harkin, he talked about that at one point, because some of his friends who had unfortunately passed away, who were tortoise keepers, sent them over to him. So I think a lot of it is just, you know, when you get one, you should, if you're getting one, you should try to get it from a reputable breeder or someone that you know, someone that you can always reach out to and ask questions about, you know, and ask them. You know, definitely be upfront, because, you know, one thing about Ronnie here, apparently some of them can live 40 to 50 years. So I might have to make a plan for that. Like, there are just certain animals out there that are going to outlast you. That is an awesome question. You know, that's something that
I think about, but I don't really.
Right. Well, you know, you should have time, right? You should definitely have time. But yeah, that's a good question. That's probably why we don't have tortoises over here. To be fair, they're very cool, but one of the things that I would like to do with Ronnie, who's staring me down over here, one of the things I want to do with him is potentially add another animal in there. Since we're cohabiting, we got the Reeves turtle with them, we've got guppies and everything and whatnot. But I wouldn't mind doing maybe a tortoise, like a redfoot, a smaller tortoise in there. Oh yeah, one thing that you might get volunteered for by the channel is when I have to start cleaning all this 1,000 pounds of rock and stuff out of here. Luckily, I know some big guys across the street here who are awesome, awesome, willing to help out. Actually, some of those rocks you guys brought over, so that's right. Yeah, we're doing some cleanup and whatnot, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So, a really funny thing that has happened to us over here, we tried to take Ronnie outside. So, I don't know if you remember the live stream where I had like the little rope made harness thing. Probably not. And, it's hard to keep track of all the videos and whatnot. But, well, I put it on him, and he was fine. I get him all the way to the top of the stairs through where we came in. And then he shredded my arms. I mean, absolutely tore me up, clipping nails is just not something I do on the iguana, but
hooks.
They are hooks. Yeah. Absolutely, I'll tell you that. He's not trying to do any damage or whatnot, but, they don't exactly have to try, and that's probably why they survive so well in the wild. I mean, geez, they're made of armor for the most part.
Hard scoots.
Yeah, scoots and all that. Actually, here, speaking of scoots, here's a couple of scoots left over. This is something we found on the, while we were down. This is a box turtle shell. And these are loose, so just be careful with them. But here, we'll a little close up. So this is that box turtle shell that we found. And I don't know what happened here, but maybe this was, I found this along the side of the road.
Hit by a car.
Maybe it was unfortunately run over. I mean, it wasn't. To be fair, it was a rock road. It was all gravel to get down here. So, I always like to find them not in this shape, but at the same time, I always find myself on skullsunlimited.com. You can check them out because they have some cool stuff. And I also took all of my snake sheds and everything recently down to a local artist, actually the artist who made this little pendant here, and I'm hoping to just see what she makes out of it. She was trying to ask me what my ideas were, and I said, I'm not the artist. I'm not the artist. So it was pretty fun, but yeah. Are you planning to take your big tortoise outside this year and just kind of chill outside with him a little bit?
Me and my dad were talking if we ever get to a point where she's getting too big for the cage, we want to build something outside. But she's still got enough room now to where that's a decision we can make in a couple years. But it's like in the winter in Ohio is a lot different because everything really gets cold. So it's like to build something outside, it has to literally be like equivalent to a house.
You would probably just saving money wise, just bring it back inside and let it take over your basement for the most part. I mean, when that thing, although when a sulcata is 250 to 300 pounds,
nobody wants to carry
I really don't see you moving it a whole lot. But you know what? Moving south might not be too bad. Although with global warming and whatnot, it might warm right up. We haven't really had a super bad winter yet. This year anyway. We had snow like 2 times.
Not even thick, deep snow.
Yeah, it was little stuff, but I want to have an outdoor enclosure for Ronnie too.
That'd be nice.
I feel like doing an outdoor. Maybe we'll have to do a video over there and check out your tortoise and your iguana.
Iguana is crazy. He's loony.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Try the ball training that Brian Barczyk has been doing.
I will say this though, he has a great food response.
Yeah.
Like he's not attacking nothing, but I could go over his basking spot and crawl him all the way to the food bowl. Yeah. Like he'll eat perfectly. Like that's one thing I will say. Like he doesn't have any issue with that. He's nothing. Like food comes, he's happy. Sometimes like if I miss a day or two, like I'm busy or something, like I'm like miss or something, he will come down there and he'll be so upset. Like he'll see the food and start hitting his head against the cage. I'm like, no, dude, you gotta calm down.
Well,
It's too bad.
that's this guy back here. You know, Ronnie. He does that. He lets me know when he's ready for some food. I thought he would have stripped that Rosa Sharon. We had a big storm come through yesterday and knocked down some of my Rosa Sharon, which they can eat the flowers and the leaves from, so can yours. And you know, so I just brought a big old stem down here. But yeah, it's pretty. It's definitely pretty cool.
I will say one of the things that if you have any desert species you would want to get is cactus and prickly pears. Those are like two of the best things to feed desert species because they're like tasty and they're like they got a lot of nutrients to them, a lot of water to them, and then you know like anything fruit a tortoise is going to tear apart.
Oh yeah.
It's just they just really like these things. It's kind of funny. Sometimes.
Shy Ronnie. Well, let me flip this camera around for you here. Danielle. That is Rocky Mountain Spider Freak. Um, on your live streams, all I ever see is your husband, I want to say. I don't know. Don't come through the internet and smack me too hard. But look at this big old thing. He's, well, when I have him out in my basement over here, oh, his big old legs. Look at how weird he's laying. Just legs back, just chilling, like no big deal. But yeah, he's real fun. He comes out. He's got to be close to. He's got to be close to 3 feet and whatnot. If not full on 3 feet. And if you can tell, this is the UVB fixture that I have above him, and it's 4 feet long. And one of the things that you want to make sure you're doing when you have a big long lizard is make sure that they can get UVB across their entire body.
We were going to set it up in the corner so it like shoots all the way. Like you know, a lot.
Now UV doesn't transmit super far.
Yeah, but it's like enough to where it's like.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we have going on over here. You want to make sure that it can coat their, just bathe their entire. It just kind of, you want it to coat them so that they get a really good tan. You can see one of the reasons why we picked this guy are these little, it's hard to see, but when he's basking, he gets his little stripes to come in. You can just make him out on his side. But he was the prettiest one of his group. So his enclosure really needs to get redone here soon. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just post this up over here and show a full on, and we can stand in front of it and maybe like.
See, I really like you got a whole lot of stuff to crop up, a lot of comfortable stuff right now.
And it's all about layers,
yeah.
Right? You want to give them some good options of places to go hang out. You know, if he wants to get away from the heat, he goes all the way down and hides. He finds a cool spot. What I think has been super cool is right down in here, there's actually a cork bark round in there. And every once in a while, he'll climb down in there and he vanishes. Like, you won't see him. He's kind of hard to...
oh, it's coming out the back right here.
Nice.
It's coming out the back right there, the board.
Yeah, just right down here, you can just see a nub, and right over here is a little nub. It's pretty cool. I really didn't expect it to look as cool as it does, or do what he's doing with it. So that's been really fun.
Living a good life.
Yeah. Don't forget, guys, if you want to see Andrew eat a bug, we got to get to 10 likes. Before the stream's over. It has to be during the live stream. Otherwise, I don't know that I can make him do it because he's bigger than me. So I know that Matt wasn't going to eat a bug, but you know, if you keep bugs, if you keep animals and whatnot, sometimes you gotta do some weird stuff.
Make fun out of it.
Yeah, you gotta make it fun. I mean, geez, I'm sweating in this room. It is hot. What are we looking at in here? 80 degrees. 80 degrees in this room. The whole room. Maybe this is something, I don't think I ever told you how I built this whole room or really designed it.
I remember when you first started YouTube videos. I remember I watched like the first couple of videos when you designed this, but I don't really remember.
Yeah, but you know the whole room is insulated.
Oh,
Ceiling, the walls. I actually have a rubber, like the rubber floor pads that you use in a garage. Those are all underneath this floor. That's why you get a little spring in it. Um, and I actually designed the whole thing around this enclosure. So everything in here, you know, I don't have to have heat. All of my, every single, every single enclosure has a thermostat, runs a heat fixture, except for Andromedas. And the leopard geckos don't need heat in here because it's pretty much perfect. It's pretty much perfect for them. So it's super efficient. Also, just not having to pay for all that electric and stuff is the big deal. And you see, I don't know if you've seen her lately or well-plated lizard. She's just asleep down there. She's laying on her food dish, which is her saying, "Give me food, dude."
Then I pass her.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go to bed. You know, she was when I got her, they told me that she was wild caught, which is to be expected. Males are really hard to come across, and so part of me is debating on trying to find a male and pursue that project as well. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Should I try to breed it?
Those are, I'm not gonna lie. They called Sudanese plated.
The Sudan plated
I
lizard.
remember I've seen it before, but in person, it looks a whole lot cooler.
She will lay her head on the tip of my fingers and her tail will touch into the crotch of my elbow. She's got to be 18 inches long. And you can see actually the whole back. And you guys will see this later on the video on Saturday. But her whole tail there, almost the tip of it is almost a different color, and that's just where she's been growing pretty steadily since I got her. It's a really interesting thing. Part of me is also hoping that parthenogenesis can take over, and maybe we'll just get some Sudan plated lizards. Like that is a thing that can happen, or maybe she had been bred before brought in, but I don't think that's a thing. In fact, I don't even know if they're a live bearer, like blue-tongued skinks, or if they're oviparous. Yeah. See, there's a technical word for you. That just means they lay eggs.
Something special I found out was, I always thought my tortoise, like the white on a tortoise, was like dirt or something.
Yeah.
I was like ash from cause she has like wood chips. What I can't remember the name of them. Cypress moons.
Yep.
So I always thought it was like that. But no, when I found out about 3 months ago, was the white is the growing plates.
Yeah,
so that's what helps them grow. I did not know that. And like she had a lot of pyramid, it was like mild because she didn't have any UVB right. But like now, like she's like bigger. Like it looks like she's still pyramiding. I think it's because she's getting older and like she's like expanding, but like her body's gonna grow into it. But like the white around her is still good. I thought she had got stunning, but she has a lot of white. It looks crazy.
And that is a crazy thing that chelonians, all your tortoises and turtles and stuff, they get growth rings like trees. Trees grow to be hundreds of years old. Yeah, Danielle pointed out something here in chat that, humans, when you're an adult, if you buy a tortoise as an adult, you might have 40 to 50 years after that, which seems kind of reasonable. But the tortoise can live 150. So you have to get your family on board with that. That is something to really consider. And
great animals too.
And then you have to make sure that they pass it on to their kid. It could definitely be like a whole family thing. But I feel like, didn't you say that your dad was kind of into reptiles?
He's into them, but he's more into them like he likes them, and he's like they're expensive, but they're like you gotta, if you get it, he knows he's gonna know what to do for it. Like me, it took me years to look it up, and like I had them for probably like a month, and my dad was still telling me stuff like, you could feed him this, you can feed him that. I did not know that. Yep. But that's like he works from home, so he just sits on his computer and does stuff. I'm like, he's literally like he likes this stuff. He might be like, it might cost me a couple $100, but like keeping an animal is like keeping a human, and it's just as fun as keeping a human. You can see him grow.
More fun.
Yeah, you can see him grow. You can even how many humans you know you could put on a leash sometimes, some animals, and walk them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're fun.
Well, I think tortoises are just super cool because when we were down as a member of the Greater Cincinnati Herpetological Society, I was invited to a private behind the scenes tour by Ryan Dumas, who's an awesome guy who runs the reptiles, the whole reptile house, like just super cool guy. And he's also in charge of the group. Very cool. Check out the group, separate thing. And when we were back there behind the scenes, he took us into the Galapagos tortoise exhibit outside, which you can do. You can buy, I think it was, it's like a feeding pass or something. But anyway, we go out there, and he brought some food out with him, and he was joking and was like, "Hey, just be careful if you get bit by a tortoise. You deserved it." Because they're slow and methodical, but it was hilarious because they come running.
Yeah.
And it's a boulder. These animals are massive at the zoo, and they're just come like
when they were
trotting
younger,
over.
they used to like, because a lot of animals when they're younger don't know how to really always
Right.
hold themselves. So like now, she like,
Yep.
but when she was younger and she like you would mess with her, like she like it's like she's in her shell, but she's like swimming like an animal. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like they're slow, but if you leave them alone for 5 minutes, you will get lost.
Oh man, and I was actually watching Camp Kennan's video that he just did on feeding in the rain, and he's looking around for a tortoise, right? Something this big. It's can't find it. Well, and then the video before that, he was looking for one of his Galapagos tortoises or his Aldabras, and I mean that thing's massive, and he's just like, I don't know where it is, and then he's like, oh, it was actually next to me the whole time.
You overlook it because they look like a rock in the ground.
Yeah, and well, it was amazing because when I was on the previous video of mine with the fishing and whatnot, that water snake scared me to death. I did not know what it was, and I understand people freaking out about it, but I was trying to catch one of those little baby bullfrogs, and this thing shot out from under me, and I was looking for my wife, like, grab the camera! And that's when I got the camera and start shooting that video. It was pretty entertaining. Check on these comments here.
That's pretty awesome. I had so last week my mom was sitting on our back patio and she came out, oh my god, Andrew. I'm like, what's wrong? She said, it's a snake in the backyard. I'm like, a snake? So I'm like, it's not gonna hurt you. So then last Saturday I was cutting the grass and I kid you not, it's a riding lawnmower. And I was like moving stuff out the way. I'm happy because I saw it go by. It was a garter snake, probably like that thick, probably like that long, slithering, like getting away. And it was one last year, like around our dog house back there. And like they're like when you see them, it's because they're bleeding. They're not gonna see them while they're
well.
They're not bad.
If she's big chunky monkey, she's about to have babies.
She was pretty wild.
Yeah, keep an eye out, and they give live birth. So you'll just see a bunch of little like worms freaking flying all across your yard. In my house that I sold a couple years ago, I never told anybody this, but there was a whole family of garter snakes that lived in the wall. So I'm sorry, but I was never gonna get rid of them because I thought that was cool.
They eat like field mice and stuff.
Yep.
That helps too. That's my dad's thing. He's like, don't mess with it. You're like helping now.
So let me read you this. Danielle said, she's talking about the tortoises, saying hundreds of tortoises are sold in Canada every year at expos. And the same here. Hundreds. There's thousands probably at expos. How can that many people guarantee a home and good life forever? They can't. You can't.
No animal.
No.
Not saying no animal, but if a million, do you think every 100,000 leopard geckos sold are living perfect?
Right. And of all of those, maybe 5 to 10% just are going to fail to thrive, which is just a term, for they just aren't going to make it that long. And then I would probably say a good majority of people who are buying sulcatas in particular are just not there at expos. my biggest problem at an expo is an impulse buy, right?
Oh,
Oh, look, oh, that's beautiful. I want it. And then they've never looked it up. They don't really know anything about it. They didn't do their research. They don't have a setup
that's
to
how.
take it home to, and that's really a problem. And that seems kind of how you guys got the
She didn't.
sultata,
She
but
didn't have like. I didn't mean to cut you off, but she didn't have like UVB for over 10 years.
yeah,
But like she lived by a window. I think that's what saved her from
absolutely.
pyramiding extremely.
Yeah.
Cause you seen the one kid that has the yellow foot. I think.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody stepped on it.
Yeah, they're really, really big. It's named Lego.
Yeah.
I was like, you could just plug it in together.
It looks crazy.
You know maybe sometime we'll just have to go out and pull her out in the backyard and just like
nice.
and just video and chill out and maybe come up with they don't climb very well, so maybe if you had like a couple of 2x10s and just drive some stakes in around in a big area.
They're not gonna. They test the perimeter and that's what they do.
Yeah.
Like another thing I say is like something about it. Like any animal that's very active when when they start like walking the perimeter a lot more than doing anything else, because that means they're like stressing, because it's like either they're too condensed or they too stressed.
Well, all animals are always trying to escape.
Yeah, but like it's
all
like,
the time.
It depends. Like I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
But it's like hers you could actually see like, because like with the pyramid and stuff, but like she was like barely ever going towards the middle of the cage, unless it was like when she really walked around for like days on end, and like so she would just walk around the cage, and I'm just like the most annoying thing to her. To her, it's not going to stumble out or anything. It's this
dink, 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 all up
against the cage.
Yeah, just giving them huge space, is really probably the best bet. I really want to build an outdoor enclosure for him, and what I think is funny is when you research the prices for materials, like I started at a 10x10. Well, it's only like $20 in materials to go from like a 10x10 to a 16x16. It's like, all right, where is your point of no return where you're going to get that and whatnot? But how long have we been going for here? Oh man, we've been going for a half hour already. Well, we haven't hit our 10 likes, so I can't make him eat a bug.
I'll do it voluntarily.
You want to do it voluntarily? Oh man, okay. Give me just a second. Give me just a second here. All right. Well, I got two different types here for you. Remember, guys, we got the chocolate covered silkworm pupa, and then we have non-chocolate covered pupa. This package is still closed, so we're gonna still leave it sealed. You luck out on this one, but next time. So when we start running out of cows and beef and proteins and stuff like that.
Superworms and
well, there is if somebody out there would like to send me some chirps, which are cricket chips, I want them. They're called chirps. What an amazing name, chirps. And it's ground crickets. They make cricket flour out of them, and then you can bake with it. So it's like if you have a cake or a brownie or something like that, and you have a picky kid who doesn't like meat or something like that, weird. Not weird. Vegetarians are cool.
My brother is like that. Oh.
So, if you've ever had,
they don't look too bad.
If you've ever had those Rice Krispie M&Ms, it's like a really bad one of those. I'm really upselling it, huh? I'm really upselling it here.
Greatest way.
At least they're covered in chocolate, Andrew.
Chocolate and peanut butter is the best.
All right, well, I'll let you get one there, and then I'll take that little thing back. Well, here, pop up over here and be right in the front, and
It smells great, though.
it smells great. Not too bad.
It smells like a chocolate covered pretzel.
All right, you know what? You want me to join you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If I'm gonna suffer, you're gonna suffer. All right. And it really wasn't that bad. You know what? I found myself almost snack on one of these.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so all right, guys. Cheers. Dink it and sink it. Not bad. The chocolate helps.
Yeah.
You just get these. You just get the
blue.
You know, the aftertaste is
it's like a shell.
Well,
it's not the worst. It tastes like somebody covered chocolate and sawdust.
Yeah, you know, like it's everybody should try it.
Yeah. You're not gonna throw up. You're just gonna be confused.
You're just gonna be confused. I love the way you put that.
It's very different.
I love it, Danielle. It's fantastic. Oh, well, I'm going to save the rest of those for later. Maybe when I'm playing video games and I forget my M&Ms. But Andrew, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's awesome having another neighbor who's crazy like me. You know, it's super cool. We'll probably have to get together when at a future date when it's not 900-mile-an-hour winds or monsooning, or maybe a 1,000,000-degree day wouldn't be too bad. But again, hey, thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody who joined on the stream. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we will probably see you next week on the live stream, and we'll see you Saturday for the video. Thanks again, everybody.